course I trust you. Here, have my emails. Yeah, have my documents too. You want my money? Oh, go on then. So, what would you surrender to the cloud? This week, Click looks at the latest moves to keep anything and everything online and not in the locked drawer in your desk. And then, a closer look at an online service which asks you for all your banking passwords and promises to keep your money safe. All that, plus the latest tech news and an opportunity to spring clean your machine in Webscape. Welcome to Click. I'm Spencer Kelly. How do you carry your data around with you? Now, if I'd have asked that question 15 years ago, you probably would have said on a floppy disk. As recently as 2 years ago, you probably would have said on a USB memory stick. But these days, you could very well say, I don't carry anything around with me. I store it all online in the cloud. Now, online storage and cloud computing are being taken very seriously these days. In fact, just last month, the US government made recommendations to move more of its workload online. But there are still huge concerns surrounding storing your most sensitive information anywhere other than right here, beside you, as Ian Hardy reports.
Cloud computing means different things to different people, but a popular definition is the ability to access data and work with it from anywhere on any platform, including smartphones. Off-site data is safe from fire, floods and theft, a huge advantage. Countless cloud solutions are now available, including Google Docs and the new Office suite from Microsoft. Dropbox is an online storage solution used by over 4 million customers. Digital stuff is uploaded via the web or moved into a Dropbox folder on the desktop, which is permanently synced across any number of devices. Folders and files can also be shared, great for collaboration. Dropbox claims security is one of its many benefits.
I think with any cloud computing service, it's important that the service provider have a trusted relationship with those people using the service. And we think it's going to be beneficial to customers when we can have all of the energy and expertise that we and others are able to bring to the problem, helping keep their files backed up and safe and secure, rather than the old model where each individual PC user had to be responsible for that on their own.
Evernote is ideal for collecting bits of information into virtual notebooks. You can clip web pages into it, upload business cards and receipts, write text notes, keep a diary, it goes on and on. As services like Evernote become increasingly popular, there are those people who say that consumers should really think through the concept of putting their private data online and be 100% comfortable before doing it.
They say, give us all your data and use the applications from the internet. Don't worry about anything. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of the security. And so it's a value proposition based on you trusting the provider. And what we've learned recently is that no matter how trustworthy the provider is, it's never as secure or bulletproof as you might think it is.
Hacking is just one potential problem. Losing an internet connection can separate you from your data instantly. Luckily, Dropbox and Evernote both sync data on your local computer as well. But many companies have some infrastructure downtime. For others, it's permanent.
I will be sending out all kinds of useful information, hints, updates.
Students in particular have become heavy users of free collaborative online tools. But some colleges have banned cloud computing completely because of security and other concerns. Others, like the University of San Francisco, send out constant reminders that online snafus cannot be used as classroom excuses.
I'll tell them, this may go down. Don't do your homework at the last minute. Just like, the library might be closed at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning when you want to do your homework. And so it's another way of learning responsibility, but I do think you have to be explicit with them that this is not always a 24/7 thing. Things can happen, and plan ahead.
The problem is that there aren't very many good alternatives. The alternative to not putting any data online is to keep it all locally, or to manage all of the backup and maintenance of all that data yourself, which is also fraught with hazards. The hackers are going to go wherever the data is, including on your own system. The problems of managing an increasingly complex body of data is very daunting, and that's one of the appealing things about cloud computing. So you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you completely reject cloud computing, well, now you've got another big problem.
There are other possibilities, like a Pogo plug, which connects to a router and then to a hard drive, allowing documents, photos and any other files to be accessed securely from anywhere, without being stored in the cloud. In reality, cloud computing is only gaining traction, but more and more consumers hope that strict guidelines are put in place to protect them from the inevitable, a major attempt at some point in the future to compromise data belonging to millions of people.
Ian Hardy. So would you trust cloud computing yet? And here's a question. If there was one piece of information that you wouldn't upload to the cloud, what would it be? Well, in a couple of minutes, we may surprise you when we tell you what 2 million people in the States have already done. Now, though, time for the latest tech news. Twitter is finally feathering its nest with a new business model, promoted tweets. The trendy microblogging service will now carry paid-for tweets, or adverts, as the rest of us know them, that will appear when Twitter users search for something. Twitter's blog says the ads will have to be useful to its users and resonate with them, and if no one interacts with the promoted tweet, it disappears. The big bird is also planning ads in timelines if they don't chicken out. The South Korean government is introducing an online curfew policy in an attempt to curb the amount of time younger users spend playing online games. Super-fast broadband connections and the popularity of online gaming in South Korea have both led to concerns about the amount of time gamers are spending in virtual worlds. The new policy will see school-aged children banned from playing online games between 12 midnight and 8 a.m. They should be in bed anyway, shouldn't they? The South Korean government is calling on games providers to implement the curfew, also suggesting that gamers' internet connections could be slowed down after playing for a certain amount of time. And finally, rural villagers in the UK have raised £37,000 in order to launch their own broadband service. Residents in Liddington will be able to enjoy speeds of up to 40 megabits per second using the new Rutland Telecom network. The villagers previously made do with much slower broadband speeds, and their frustration led them to join forces with a local ICT firm to create their own faster broadband network. These people might live in a sleepy village, but their broadband speeds are now blisteringly fast. Now, we've heard an awful lot in the last year or so about 3D, from blockbusting movies to 3D TVs, video games and now laptops. It seems both the entertainment and technology industries seem determined to make us don those silly specs in order to enjoy things popping out of the screen at us. But some of our viewers have expressed some concerns about 3D. This from David Robbins. Hi, Click. Hi, David. There's been a lot of talk about 3D TV on your show, but can people that wear prescription glasses also wear the 3D glasses? Well, Dave, the good news is you can pop your 3D glasses just over the top of your prescription glasses and everything should look fine. But as Mel Hill points out, there is another problem with 3D. How will people who can only see through one eye enjoy films when they all go 3D? Well, Mel, if you do only have sight in one eye, you won't be able to enjoy the illusion of 3D at the movies. Interestingly, though, if you do go and see a film in 3D, you will still have to wear the 3D glasses. Otherwise, you'll see a double image. Now, many of you have also been commenting on the recent browser ballot that we've been talking about on Click. Here's the story so far. Microsoft has provided the world's most popular web browser, Internet Explorer, as the default option on the Windows operating system. Now, this practice has been challenged by the European Union, which has forced Microsoft to give users an active choice about which make of web browser is the default, which pops up when you start to browse the web on Windows. This from Ian Banks. When I turned my computer on today, I was confronted with the browser choice screen that's been published lately, and so was not surprised to see it there. But then I thought about it a little more after watching Click. Do you realise that not only have Microsoft hacked into my computer to tell me this wondrous piece of information, I'd only turned the computer on, not opened any browser, but they've also installed a program with a desktop shortcut on my computer to tell me I have a choice of browser. They should have given me the choice of having the program installed or not. Well, Ian, the truth of the matter is this. A, Microsoft were forced to give you this choice by the European Union, the powers that be, therefore. And B, Microsoft is also constantly updating your Windows operating system. It's changing the code right under your feet to make it safer, to change the functionality and all sorts of things. So I wouldn't be too worried. However, Philip Lee says, "Dear Click, if you have any influence, can you give Microsoft a bit of a hard time? Because they're certainly giving users a hard time by creating this pop-up when you boot up. There's no way of knowing if this is genuine, legitimate software or a virus. And I assume there are hundreds or even thousands of people trying to get rid of it by doing a restore, as I did until I read about it on your website." Philip, you've made an excellent point. We've spent years warning you not to click on a window that pops up unexpectedly on your computer, and certainly not to download any programs or applications that it suggests if you haven't specifically asked for it. Then along comes a window that pops up unexpectedly and asks you if you want to download a program. I will put this personally to Microsoft, and when they get back to me with an answer, you'll be the first to know. And loads more still ahead on the show this week. We'll meet the man who runs the cloud money service Mint. But would you trust him with your banking passwords? And then it's time to put style over substance. Get a load of this in Webscape. Now, we've talked about some of the issues surrounding cloud computing. The most pressing almost certainly being, how do I know my data's secure once I've uploaded it to someone else's server farm? And that probably means that of all the information you could upload, the stuff you'd worry about most would be your personal financial information, your bank accounts and your credit card details. And yet, right now, in the United States, more than 2 million people are uploading their money info to an online service which helps them to manage their finances. It's called Mint.com, and it's a remarkably simple idea. The best ideas often are. But this isn't your typical banking site. It's a free service that allows you to log on from almost anywhere, at any time, and get an instant snapshot of your financial health with details of your bank account transactions, credit card payments, mortgage payments, and investments. Mint basically allows you to monitor your money, categorise transactions and add notes. Now, the site makes a profit by analysing your data and then recommending better products. Its founder is a 20-something who got fed up trying to keep track of his finances using traditional software.
When I started this company 3 years ago and went out to pitch the idea to investors, I probably got 50 no's before my first yes. Every investor said no one will ever trust a startup with their financial information. You know, you're asking for bank usernames and passwords. We do that so that we can pull in the information automatically, because the worst enemy in finance is complexity. You want to get people up and running in 5 or 10 minutes, show me the end result. And so we needed to pull that in. And a lot of people said there's no way anyone would ever trust you with that information. But we have 2.3 million users. We'll probably double that, you know, within another year or so. So it's growing very, very rapidly. It's very popular.
So successful, in fact, that Microsoft Money simply gave up trying to sell its boxed software in 2008. And Intuit, which sells Quicken, decided to buy Mint.com to prevent being put out of business. It paid Aaron $175 million for Mint and then put him in charge of revamping the entire Quicken website and software. As far as security goes, Mint uses the same encryption and security systems that traditional banks do. Yet even if an outsider does get hold of the logon details of a user, the site is essentially read-only. You can't actually move or withdraw money. You'll never see any account number or credit card number on the site. And the company claims its physical location is secure too.
24/7 video surveillance on the power supply and the lock. Inside, the racks are locked, and then the hard drives themselves are encrypted. So even if you got it and pulled the hard drives, you're not getting anything. And this is maybe a little too technical, but there's no one person at Mint who can change the encryption scheme, because we actually have broken the key up, the encryption key, onto 5 different locations. And you need 3 people to come together with a special little smart card and all at once change the encryption key. It's like on a nuclear submarine where 2 people have to turn keys, 12 feet apart before the missile can go off. It's just like that. It's pretty cool, and you want that kind of innovation in security if you're dealing with something like finance. There's also the proactive aspect of Mint. If you have 4 credit cards, you can wait 35 or 40 days before you get that paper statement in the mail, and by then it's too late. And are you really going to check 4 websites every day? Instead, Mint synchronizes with those 4 credit cards. If there's an unusual spending pattern, it'll say, wow, you've spent $4,000 on electronics these past 2 days. Just thought we ought to let you know about it, and that can prevent or detect fraud faster often than the banks can.
Aaron Patzer is also aware that one major security slip-up, not just on his website, but on any other cloud-based personal finance site, could bring down his business almost overnight.
One of the things that we've done is we're in a coalition with a bunch of banks where if we see any suspicious IP addresses, hackers trying to break into the system, then we share the address of those computers with everybody in the network. Or if somebody tries to break into a bank, then they say, hey, watch out for this IP address.
Finally, what happens to your data if you want to close your account? Social networking sites sometimes hold on to personal information for months, if not years, after users have left. Well, there too, Aaron Patzer has tried to rewrite the rules.
We have a policy on Mint that if you want to remove your account, within 48 hours it'll be expunged off of all of our servers. It could still exist in some sort of backup tape somewhere just for disaster recovery, but even then that'll eventually be phased out.
Aaron Patzer, founder of Mint. Now, if you already use Mint, we'd be really interested to hear what you think of it. And if you don't already use it, would you? Email click@bbc.co.uk, or you can follow us on Twitter and join in that conversation. We are at BBC Click. Now, we're spending more and more time looking at our computers these days. They're the focal points of most offices, and they're an important part of our daily lives at home too. Sometimes they're even part of the furniture. So, if your desktop is looking a bit tired and washed out, Kate Russell is here to help you give it a bit of a facelift in Webscape.
I hope you're not suggesting I need a facelift, Spencer. To give your computer a fresh new look, point your browser at interfacelift.com. This site has over 2,000 free desktop wallpapers, available in all different sizes for Windows, Linux and Mac OS X. Don't know what resolution you need? Don't worry, the site even tells you that. There's links to images suitable for widescreen, multi-screen and even netbook designs. And for a thorough digital makeover, you can even download a new set of icons. The themes are pretty cool in an uber geeky kind of way, but you'll need to pay out hard cash for those.
I like the fact that there is so much here for the Mac, and yay, Linux users don't get completely ignored either. Now, the content is provided by an open community, so the levels of quality do vary quite a bit, but there are some truly stunning photographs here for download for your desktop, and no registration required, so you really have nothing to lose.
The site does have an iPhone app too, but it's not free. Personally, I use Backgrounds from Stylum Media, which is free and available for iPhones, Androids, Blackberries and Palm Pre. There's over 10,000 great backgrounds available here, and 1.3 million users a day says a lot for their pedigree. If that lot has ignited your creative streak, it's time for a little art attack at pixuffle.net. Just upload a picture and then start shuffling the pixels. The result saves as a JPEG, and you can trim off the bits you don't want and use it as a desktop image or to adorn a website or blog. No registration required. Lovely.
If you do want to put your picture on a website, size is all important. Yes, online, size really does matter. Well, you can faff around and try and get reasonable results with a photo editor, but I have something even easier for you.
PunyPNG.com is an image compressor which works on JPEGs, PNGs and GIFs, claiming to optimise them for the web with no loss of quality. Well, it's hard to tell by eye if that's the truth, but they certainly don't look any different. And with up to 40% reduction in size, it's a good way to shrink things really quickly, although it can't handle anything above 350 kilobytes. You don't need to register, but if you do, you can tweak your compressor settings and get API support if you're a developer. Though the app is still in beta, so don't be surprised if you uncover the odd bug. To finish off our visual feast today, I want you all to be funky. This smart-looking site helps you turn ordinary photos into something a little bit special, all with just a few clicks of your mouse. The interface is super easy to use, with previews of all the effects viewable in the side panel, and there's an impressive range of options. All sections have at least one free version, and of course there's the obligatory upgrade for a small subscription.
You don't need to register to use and save the free effects, but if you do, you can start building your own library of arty shots. Make them public and others can enjoy them too. You might even get nominated to feature in the Explore Gallery. What an honour.
Simple tweaks to the effects are controlled under the Settings button, where you can also compare what you've done to the original. You can even add some comedy extras if you click through to the Goodies section. Once finished, save or send your work to the world at large, if you dare. A mobile app that really sings now, as Opera Mini is released for the iPhone. 50 million people already use Opera on their mobile, which is preloaded as the default browser for many handsets. It's not the only browser alternative for iPhone, iPod Touch and iPad users, but it is very fast. The fastest, say its makers, but then they would say that, wouldn't they? It's speedy because it renders and compresses websites before they reach your handset. This has the added bonus of making it very data light, which is good news if you don't have an unlimited data tariff. Some downsides: the pinch zoom only has one level of zoom, and that server-side rendering means it's unsuitable for things like online banking. But with the neat home page and dial page feature, plus the option to save web pages for browsing offline, there are plenty of reasons for iPhone users to get excited about a trip to the opera.
Kate Russell. And Kate is always on the lookout for great sites and apps to feature, and you always come up trumps on Twitter and on email, and you can contact us via the website too. bbc.co.uk/click is the address. There you'll also find tons of video streams, archives, essential guides and reviews too. Enjoy that. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.